All right, Kevin. So appreciate you taking the time this Sunday morning, and we're gonna probably make it in time right before football starts. So,
Good, good, good. I'm actually headed back out. I got to get back to work
oh
doing
dang,
showings
working
today.
every day then. So if you could just tell everybody a little bit about yourself, and we'll go from there.
All right. Well, hello. My name is Kevin Grimes. I'm a realtor in Bronx, New York, and Westchester, New York. 40 years old, father of one great son.
Awesome. And you said you're a realtor. So what got you into being a realtor?
Actually, what got me into being a realtor was, can you believe, $1 Million Real Estate? I used to love that show, and I felt like my grind and my hustle was. I've always been a hustler. I've always been a grinder. Always wanting to get out there and get the job done. So when watching them shows and seeing people make $100,000 in one episode, I was like, I could do this. I know I can go make $200,000 in an episode, but it didn't turn out that way. But that's what got me into real estate.
Awesome. And how long you been a real estate agent for?
5 years now. Just made
5 years.
5 years.
And so when it came to getting your license, is it difficult in New York? Is it because I know certain states, if you get a license in that state, it may be easier to cross over into the other. Is New York unique in its own way with the license, real estate license?
So it is a reciprocal state where you can get it. You can have a license here and have it in other states as well.
Oh,
One of the
nice.
things that I'm actually working on. I'm working on getting my license in Connecticut, and I'm actually started classes for my broker's license as well because I do plan on practicing in Atlanta in the next year.
Okay. And what is the a difference between a broker and a real estate agent?
So a broker that can actually open up. You can be a associate broker under a firm, but as a broker, you can actually start your own firm as well, which is
And
one of
you
my
yeah.
goals.
And you make a commission off of the real estate agents under you.
Correct.
And
Correct.
so are
You can open a building. You can start, having salespersons work for you, and they receive commission payments that your company provides them. And as a salesperson, you just receive commissions from the sale, but it goes to your firm, to
okay,
your
because like
brokerage.
as a broker, you could still sell homes as well. Selling
Correct. Absolutely. You can still sell homes, still have your own team, but ultimately everyone works for you.
gotcha. And so with as a real estate agent, and specifically even in New York City, what do you see? What type of homes are really hot on the market right now in that area?
Right now, single families in Westchester are flying. Everyone's looking to get out of the city. Unfortunately, with COVID, we do see that numbers are rising again, and everyone is scared of getting locked in again and being stuck in an apartment in the city. So everyone's running to Westchester.
Does that require the homes to be a lower price, or it's now people say, hey, I'm going to increase the price of my house now because of demand?
Because of demand, but in some cases, right? So we have some sellers who are putting it at a decent price because they're looking at what they want their overhead to be, but because they're getting a lot more offers, it's driving the price up because salespersons work for commission, and the higher the number, the higher the paycheck. So even if the seller isn't looking to raise the price, which some are, it automatically drives up the price. Where in the past you may get 10 offers in a house in a month, now you're looking at 10 offers in a weekend.
And do you think that is hurting the housing market in that area, being that the prices are being driven up like that?
I wouldn't say it's hurting. The market is on fire. Like even when it it cooled off a little bit, it just went right back up. Because as the numbers surge, more people have the fear that it's actually making everyone say it's looking like we're going to get locked back in by the wintertime. So
And
everyone is helping the market
and
tremendously.
so how will you be affected once everything does get locked up? As a real estate agent, do you change your strategy, or would things be steady enough to where you don't have to change it up?
Well, there was no strategy in March and April because we couldn't go out. We couldn't do anything. We had to stay home. One of the things that I did is reached out to my buyers that I had in my database that I knew were looking to buy, and I told them just stand by, right? Like as soon as they open up the market, we'll be out there hitting the pavement. And I must say, since they did open up the market a little bit in June, all those buyers that I had waiting are either closed at this point or under contract.
And there are people. So with that being said, everybody's kind of trying to go to Westchester. Uh,
Mm.
with the brownstones that you have back in the city, is those prices? Do you see those prices going down?
Mm, I would say going down. They're higher priced, so everyone can't afford to go for them. So they're pretty much just staying at the same price. They're not being driven out. The higher
Interesting.
price, when you start talking $1 million and up, those people are being very cautious on what they're investing their money into these days. Because those are investments.
Understandable. Yeah. Because you were telling me earlier that they're the storefronts, right? The storefronts with the apartments at the top.
Correct.
So with an investor, so I'm a real estate investor. I want to buy a building like that. I pretty much would rent out the bottom to a deli or something like that, and then probably rent out the top. Well, I know some people some tenants they'll I guess rent out the bottom for their store, and then they rent out living at the top. They live
Correct.
upstairs. And so
Correct.
is that does that happen more often than not? Like is that even a more secure thing to find, or is that harder to find a tenant like that?
In this current market, with everything that's going on with COVID, nothing is guaranteed, right?
Yeah.
Because it also depends on the business that you're having. Because you'll see that the business, one of the biggest things that I learned about COVID was the businesses that have the basic needs, right? Barbershops, nail salons, beauty salons. Those things are pretty steady throughout COVID and after COVID. But all those other businesses, regular stores, people don't care about buying clothes as much. If it's not a necessity, it's not a need, and a lot of those businesses have gone under. So right
Yeah.
now, everything that you invest in now is tricky because you don't know how much longer before it gets shut down again. And when it does shut down, how are you going to be able to sustain throughout that time frame?
Yeah, because
Everybody can sustain a
that's funny.
month. 6 months, that's hard.
Yeah, and I think as an investor and anybody that is going to be financially impacted when it comes to real estate, their home or COVID in general, one thing we've learned, Amir and I've learned, is to insulate yourself from situations like this. Obviously, COVID, people didn't see it impacting us the way it did, but we all know a recession's coming at some point. Being that the market's been crazy. You think it's going to keep going, or because we've been going for 11 years?
I think it's going to keep going. Honestly, I've heard about the market crashing for 5 years now. Since I became a realtor, it's going to crash. 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 I can't. I feel that just like how you said, you and your fiance decided you have to insulate yourself to keep that from happening, right? I think that's the best way to do it. Make sure that you build a foundation that you can sustain anything. Yeah, you don't see COVID happening, but you also can't see a flood happening. You can't sustain a fire. Just build an infrastructure to keep yourself going no matter what the circumstances that happen. Because unfortunately, we can't control everything that happens.
Yeah. And I don't think like a 2008 crash would happen. I just think I would probably see like a 10-15% dip. Because right now the real estate market is weird. It's because everybody's anticipating that everything's supposed to be going down, right? And I know a lot of stocks have suffered since March, but for some reason the real estate business is thriving. It's actually probably like the strongest I've seen it, which is unorthodox. So I think it's throwing people off, and I think it's actually got a lot of people even more afraid. Like, oh, if it's too good to be true, so I need to chill out.
Since COVID's happened, right now I have 7 people in class right now for real estate because everyone sees that real estate is thriving and they want to be part of that business before it does crash. It's not going to crash. Kevin Grimes is saying it's not going to crash no time soon, but it's money in it. If you look at a lot of wealth that was built in this country, it was through real estate.
And so maybe not necessarily crash. You just may have to switch up maybe your strategy. Because like you just
Absolutely.
said, the homes are in Westchester now. That's where everybody wants to go right now. Right.
Correct.
So it just shifted. It didn't go down. And
Correct.
maybe
So
that's
you'll
what people
see,
confuse.
correct. You'll see a lot of agents in Long Island and Brooklyn calling you up every time you put up anything regarding Westchester. I got a client for you. I got a client for you. I got a client for you. Where before it was the other way around. Everybody wanted to go to Brooklyn. Brooklyn is hot. Brooklyn is up and coming. So everyone wanted to run to Brooklyn,
Yeah.
but now everyone's ready to run back to Westchester. Come in. Come on. Reach out to me, Kevin Grimes. I'm here for you.
I'm
here to
still
get the
interested.
job.
I'm still interested in Brooklyn. I've been low key paying attention to that area when my sister was living up there because I saw how everything was kind of going up for pennies on the dollar, and it's looking like they're trying to gentrify that area.
They have. They have already started, and it's big money over there. Brooklyn is hot. That's hot. If you wanna get an investment property there, you have to be ready.
Yeah,
Big
for
money.
sure.
Big money.
So, with you selling these single family homes in Westchester, what do you, a real estate agent that's for the seller, what do you tell people? Hey, these are the things that need to would really pop out to a buyer. What are some things that you advise?
Well, the biggest thing I advise my sellers is always make sure that the house feels move-in ready as much as possible. Right now, everyone has a unique taste when it comes to houses. Right, I have
Yes.
my own taste. Everyone has something that they're going to like, but the biggest thing is make them walk in and be able to feel that it's theirs. They can envision their chair there. I can put my TV there. So make it as less cluttered as possible so that the potential buyers feel welcoming when they walk in and they feel like they can make the home theirs right away. That's
And
the
so,
biggest.
do you are there mostly driveways? Are there attics or basements in that area? What do you
Yes,
have?
absolutely. Everyone has driveways. Well, majority have attics, but mostly driveways, backyards, walkways.
Okay. And with those, I guess most of those homes kind of have not necessarily they all look the same, but they have the same, I guess, feel to it. 3 bedroom, two
Correct.
bath.
3 bedroom, 2 bath, the norm. Yeah, that's the norm.
And how much those go for again?
Right now, 550, 600 for a single family.
Single family. How many square feet usually? Like 1,500, 2,000?
Yeah, 2,000 max.
Okay.
1,000 max. That doesn't include the basement square footage though. If they have
Do
a finished basement.
Okay.
That's
Oh yeah,
square
and that was my
footage.
next question too. That was my next question. So with the basement, because it could be two different things, right? You could have a basement that's like really basically cement and then where the water heaters are at. And then some
Correct.
people they have tried to convert their basements. Now, a good rule of thumb that I heard was that any basement that wasn't really made 1990 on isn't really a good basement to convert over due to some structural things, and based off the fact that it has to deal with the amount of money you'll put into it to make the for whatever return investment that you want. Do what these homes that you're selling and having people purchase. Do these basements usually are finished? Or are they kind of able to like maybe Airbnb it out? And how does that affect the price?
Majority of them, well, all right. So let's start with the effective price. If you're able to have an income producing, it's going to jack up the price. If you choose to do it yourself, you can get it at a lower price, and then you can then convert it over. Um, Regarding it being harder, I wouldn't say it would be harder to convert it over. It all depends on your contract and how much money you're willing to invest in it. It may be a lot more depending on the condition of the basement. I don't know about Airbnb, but mostly a lot of rentals. They'll rent it out for income producing, which is a number one seller if you're getting a single family, because everyone knows that you probably know a friend or a family member who could use a 1 bedroom and you can rent it out and help pay your mortgage.
Yeah,
Who wouldn't want
everybody.
an extra
Yeah.
$1,000 off of your mortgage, right?
Yeah, everybody. I think everybody knows that one family member or person that could go down there and, not. Actually, my sister currently does that right now in a family. she lives in their basement that's been all the way decked out, and pays a good fee towards their mortgage. So
Yeah, the
I
more
think,
money you put into it, the more money you can charge in your rent. So
how much do you think, if somebody was to kind of remodel their basement, how much does that jack up the price by usually? Maybe 20, 30 grand?
on the sell of the price or on the
Yeah.
sell of the house,
Yes.
if it's income producing, it could jack it up $30,000-$40,000
Nice.
because you're thinking about the lifespan of, all right. So if it's income producing, and I'm just looking down because I have my calculator, if
Yeah,
it's
I'm
an
looking
extra
down too.
30, so say you're getting $1,200 on that, on an extra 30, it's 25. You can get that money back right away. So,
All right.
right away, right? You can get it back in a few years and just take and use that money to help pay off your mortgage as well.
That
So
too.
it's
Yeah.
worth it.
Yeah, it is
Yeah,
worth
it's
it then.
definitely worth it. If you don't mind having tenants, it's definitely the way to go.
What are some areas that you recommend people get upgrade in their house? Like what rooms, in order to maybe bump the price up, the selling price up a bit?
Kitchen,
Kitchen
kitchen,
first?
kitchen first. Number one thing is the kitchen. Everyone loves the kitchen. It's the most spent time that a family spends together is in the dining room and the kitchen. Holidays, everyone's in the kitchen. Thanksgiving, the biggest holiday is Thanksgiving to me, and that's where it's based around. It's based around the kitchen. The kitchen. If a husband, he can love the driveway, the basement, the garage. He can love everything. The selling point is a woman in her kitchen. You bringing the wife to the kitchen, that's the selling point. If she loves her kitchen, she won't go to no other room. She's going to say, I love this kitchen. I can cook. I can see myself. This is I love when I hear this. I can see myself cooking a lot of meals in this kitchen. We almost every single time we get that house.
Nice. And then
When she says that's like you listen for different keywords. When she
yeah,
says, I can see myself cooking a lot of meals, start the paperwork. I take my phone, I start
you're
sending
to text it. Yeah.
offer, let's get this offer out. And then as a husband, he's thinking, yes, I want to see you make a lot of meals in this kitchen as well. Let's get it going. They look at me, I look at them, let's go. Don't worry. I'm already setting it off.
And in that area, is the open floor kitchen the hot thing as well up in New York?
Yes. Big. It's becoming, because I guess it was always so closed and no one, I don't know when it hit. I'm only 40 years old, but I don't know when it hit that the open concept, everyone just fell in love with that. So
Yeah.
it's like everyone just wants to blow walls out. Everything is, I don't need this wall. I don't need this wall. I'm like, wow, okay. But yeah, everyone loves the open concept.
Yeah,
They
and I
want to
wonder
see
for how
everything.
long that'll last too.
What? The
The
open
open,
concept?
yeah, because people say like, hey, this paint is in style for a couple years, and after a while it won't be, or maybe these light brown cabinets won't be in style anymore. But I am curious as to how long the open concept for a kitchen will last. I can't really see it going anywhere anytime soon, because I think it's a very appealing.
Yeah, but think about this, right? The houses that people are selling now are from the 30s and 40s.
Yeah.
And those have the old concept. And they're just selling now, right? Because those people that had that house are now 50, 60s. I'm sorry, not 50, 70, 80 years old. Now it's time to sell their home because they're transitioning into a different location or moving in with family. And that style was okay with them 40, 50 years ago. So now everyone loves the open concept. For it to change again, I'm thinking next century or so. I don't see it changing no time. Yeah, because people who are buying houses now in their 50s, we're looking at another 30, 40 years for them to move. And then the transition, if it changes, everyone loves the open concept. I don't see it changing. I don't see
Okay. That's good. That's good to know that. as a real estate agent, what are some challenges you run across when it comes to let's say I'm a person that wants to buy a home. I want you to be my real estate agent. Uh, what are some challenges you have with maybe finding the right type of home for somebody and or trying to match that up with them?
So let me start this because you started on a point and then you changed it mid. Can I say the number one challenge of people wanting to buy a home? Can I start
Okay.
there?
Yeah, yeah.
Credit.
Ah, okay.
Credit. I don't want to take it another direction, but helping people know that the importance of credit in order to buy a home is the biggest challenge I face.
And
Okay.
so with credit, I guess that's you as the is it you as a real estate agent or you as the loan officer, Kirk, the one main ones trying to, hey, look, this is not really in y'all limit. You need to kind of look at something else.
I transfer them over to the credit to the mortgage person after. But when I get the straight inquiries, hey Kevin, I see what you're doing on internet, on the Instagram. I want you to be my realtor. Help me find a home, and then pre-qualifying them and getting them ready. Then it's okay, cool. Let me get you over to my mortgage guy. Quick question: what are you looking like with savings? All right, great. What are you looking like with credit? Oh, that's when it hits hard. Where sometimes I still send them over to the mortgage guy and then because I even started a credit repair company to work with them along with the lender, just
Yeah.
to help build them up to get ready to purchase a home.
When it comes to that, let's just say I have a 500 credit score, but I got 100 grand to give you. Does that help?
No,
Okay.
no,
So I need that.
because
I need the credit.
you need that because you're not going to put unless you're buying it all cash or not, which you're not, and I wouldn't advise anybody to put all that into one investment because you're still going to need money and reserves. You need to be able to still get a lender, and credit is number one importance. So if I could have went back to myself 10, 15 years ago, I wish I knew more about credit when I did. And I'm talking about even when I was 30. I'm 40, and I think I just really got the sense of credit 2 years ago.
So yeah, I wouldn't advise it either, especially for an investor. But and plus two, I guess it's like, yo, like how you got a 400 grand, but you ain't got credit. So what are you doing?
It's the mindset, right? Your mindset. A lot of people call me all the time and they say, I want to get an apartment. I have 7 months rent in my bank account right now, but my credit is 500. What are you thinking? Right? Invest some of that money into correcting the bills and understanding the importance of credit to fix your credit to where you can go get anything you want. Right? Just like as an investor, you know the money means nothing. You don't use your money. The number one investors don't use their money to make money. Their money sits there and they make more money to add to that money. You use your credit to leverage your investments to buy the properties and then make money on top of that. You don't use all.
Yeah. And so yeah, we actually discussed that on episode 12 where we talked about kind of building your credit up because obviously the average person doesn't have hundreds of $1,000s just sitting around. And if you do, I mean, I guess that would raise the eyebrow to people like, yo, what are you doing? Are you even paying taxes? And
And like I said before, the mindset, right? The mindset is, oh, my bank account is huge. I don't care about credit. What? Right? Like that's what I want a rapper to say. Jay-Z talks about it, right? Jay-Z at a certain level, he started talking about the importance of credit and being a smarter business person, but everyone else doesn't get it. They want the bag with the money, but what about that credit score? That credit score is as important as that bag.
Yeah, it is probably even more because you gotta be able to have that leverage, and you gotta be bankable because you're always gonna. For those that are always trying to do things to the next level, you're not gonna be able to financially be ready to do so, and you're not gonna want to put all you got into it either.
That just shows your lack of experience and understanding of what the real world is, right? Like people, I hear Trump say now, and I'm sorry to talk about him.
Oh no, that's cool.
but he did say something recently. He owes 400 something $1 million, but he's a billionaire. They gave it to him on credit.
Yeah,
They gave it to him on credit. They gave him some more credit. You can have all the money in the world, but he's not going to use it. He's going to use his credit to get more money and then bankrupt those companies and then write it off. It's business. It's all business.
And people kind of got that confused a little bit too. Like, oh yeah, he filed bankruptcy. I'm like, that's a strategy.
That's business. As any business person knows what bankruptcy is, and it's business. How many companies go bankrupt and the CEOs were millionaires, multi-millionaires, billionaires?
Yeah, and they were fine after the fact.
It was fine. Bankruptcy is a hit, but it's not the end of the world. It's not on your personal credit. It's on your business credit. Close down the LLC. You just close out the LLC and create another one.
And so yeah, that's stuff. I would. So I'm not gonna. I don't want to promote for everybody to do that. Yeah, but hey, if that is a business strategy that can help, it definitely can make sure you keep it going. Close down LLC instead of Kevin Grimes 1. Now it's Kevin Grimes 2.
Not that we're not endorsing you to do that.
Yeah, we're not endorsing it. Yeah,
we're just saying that's a strategy that businesses use. Okay? In case you don't know, we hear that there's some strategies business use. That's your game plan, but we're not encouraging it. We're not telling you to do that.
Is there I don't know if you know, but is there a limit to how many homes people could own underneath their name in New York? I know some states cap you at 10 mortgages. That's a good question. I don't think so, as long as you can afford it. But I know you can't have them all under FHA. You can have one under FHA for every 10 years, I believe. Wow, one for every FHA. 10 years? Yeah, I think it's one. But if you sell it, all right, you can get another one in 2 years. What if you refinance it underneath a different loan? If you refinance it conventional? Yes. I think that might be a 2-year limit on that. I think you may have to wait 2 years. Okay, for New York. But I don't know if there's a cap. That's a good question. I have an investor that I can ask. Because I know each state has its own kind of his own rules, and I write a blog on different kind of hacks when it comes to real estate. And I know, like, for us, as long as we do a year, primary a year, and that's for the VA loan, FHA loan, I do a year, I could go ahead and save up that money. So I buy a duplex, right? And I think I was telling you earlier, like, I could buy a duplex out here for $150K, and I could buy a single family home for $150K. And so what I do is I buy that home. Let's say I saved up the $7,000 to pay for the 3.5% plus closing costs. And I rent out one unit, I live in the other one. I rent the other unit out, and it's gonna be about $900. So let's say it's a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, $900. My mortgage is probably $800. So I got enough to pay the mortgage plus some one utility bill. So I saved that money that I was using, that I would have paid my mortgage for that whole year, which will put me at $9,600. And then I use that money to now get another duplex. And so, or triplex, whatever, because we bought a triplex for $139 down here. Yeah. I know some studios that are going for $175. Studios? Some studios. I'm serious. I'll send you the listing. Hey, you open the door. Well, this is it. This is it. The closet, the kitchen. You see the whole apartment from the front door. Yeah, it's the open floor plan you wanted right here. Everything you need. You can reach in your refrigerator from the living room. No offense to no one with a studio. I'm just saying that's the feel of it. Everything is in arm's reach. It's interesting how, the difference in markets, because down here, the rent doesn't shoot up like New York does. So the market doesn't. The equity in it doesn't go up, but so much, maybe like 3-4% every year. And there's nothing that happens in this area that makes it shoot up like Los Angeles. Like, one of my friends, he bought a quadruplex in South Central, and he amassed $96,000 of equity in a year and a half. Yeah. And so, yeah, you'll never see that in Hampton Roads area at all. But you could definitely depend. You'll have consistent high, consistent low. You don't have to worry about it shooting up or shooting down. If you want stability, I would say is the key thing to this area here.
Now you said one of your properties for the 2-bedroom would go for what, $900?
Yeah, in that particular city, they fluctuate in different areas in different cities, but that one, yeah, could go
Average
for 900.
2-bedroom is 18 to 1900.
18 and 19. Yeah, that's how it is in LA as well. Like 18, 1900 for a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, or maybe 1.5 bath.
Yeah.
And it's about a 750 square foot 2-bedroom, 1 bath. The one I'm thinking about in particular, that will go for like 900. Some areas 850. You try to lower the rent a little bit now because of, obviously because of COVID, to kind of, because everybody right now, they're, strapped for cash, or they claim they are.
Yeah.
So so in order to say again,
I said no comment.
yeah.
I used to do property management, and I'm getting out of it because a lot of people use anything as an excuse not to pay their rent, and I don't.
It's interesting you say that, because I have a similar situation that happened. We manage two of our units. We own 5 units in total, and 2 of them we manage. And one of them, she wasn't really communicating too much. COVID happened, and what happened? Oh yeah, so she was about a few months behind, and I hit her up and said, "Hey, ma'am, due to the fact that you've been not communicating and you haven't been paying rent, hey, we're going to be taking legal action, and we're also going to turn you over to Remax." I don't know if y'all have a Remax up. All right, so yeah, I told the lady, hey, I'm going to pretty much outsource, and I'm gonna have a different property management team deal with you, and then we'll handle the legal proceedings from there. And then she was just like, no, I got no place to live, don't do that. And then next thing you know, she had $850 to pay the rent, just one of the month's rent that she owes. And I'm just like, yo, like, really? Like, and that's why I said what I said earlier, where it's like, yeah, people during this COVID time, I'm pretty sure there are people that are going through some issues, but I think some people are playing their money close to the chest, because of vice, which to me, which is crazy, because when you want to pay your rent first, and then make sure you got obviously your food. But I think
they hear that. Do you hear that they can't kick you out, right? So when people hear that, they're thinking, let me try to save as much as I can. Let me use this opportunity to make it beneficial, versus what, this is a tragic situation. How can I make it beneficial for me and take advantage of it as much as possible? So that's what
she told me. Yeah, it's funny because she told me that she thought she didn't have to pay rent. She thought like, hey, the old property manager told me rent was canceled.
Yeah, I had a nerve. Hey, if she sees it, she sees it, right? I had someone who worked in the medical field told me, how dare I call her and ask her for her rent when we're going through a pandemic? I was like, you work for a hospital. It's like, yeah, but how do you know that I have the money to pay rent? You sit in the same office with people I know. You get paid. She's like, well, you don't know everyone's situation, but you're still working. I was like, that just helped me show me that property management isn't for me, right? As soon as you mention someone else handling it, they want to, now she comes up with the money. You see that, right?
Yeah.
You know what that is? Other people and other companies and other businesses won't be as nice. You don't have the money, here's the first notice. You don't have the money, here's the second notice. You don't have the money, here's the final eviction notice. See you in court.
Yes. And that's what they're afraid of.
Correct. Yeah. When there's a person speaking to you, we have a heart. We care. When they're dealing with property management companies, all they see you as is a number in a book. They're never going to talk to you face to face. They just want their money. And people don't like that.
Yeah, and that's the one thing, I guess that's one thing I'm not too concerned about when it comes to when the fallout happens, because right now, and I've noticed that it varies from state to state. Right now, Virginia, they're not letting people get evicted up until the end of the year. And so a lot of people are kind of like sitting tight. Like a lot of landlords are sitting tight, like, wow, like this is really killing me right now. And then the tenants are like, all right, well, I got an extension. to not pay rent, and it's frustrating. But what, like I said earlier, she thought rent was canceled. So when I told her, hey, this is how much you owe, and this is how much we are taking you to court for, then the ears kind of perk up a bit. Like, what? You could take me to court for this amount of money? Oh man, like I'm not trying to get my check garnished and stuff like that. And it's just interesting to me because I never have I ever been in my adult life thought whatever the situation was that my rent was going to be canceled because of a pandemic. Because I know that somebody owns this property and probably has a mortgage on it, and then they have to pay somebody too. Like this, it doesn't just end with me. And I think also the assumption is that the landlord is, worth millions of dollars and they could suck it up, and I'm the poor person and I need a break.
Yeah, and I don't think, for the most part, a lot of people don't do the math on a lot of things when it comes to real estate. And I'm not gonna lie, my younger years, I didn't understand the importance of this person's paying for the water that I use to brush my teeth. Right? You didn't
Yeah.
understand that. It was
Yeah.
like, oh well, I always thought, and this is my ignorance at the time, water was included, trash was included. That's all stuff that the city paid for. Landlord didn't have no responsibility.
Hey, you taking
Sadly,
45-minute showers.
Yeah. Oh, listen. I love 45. I'm one person. I love 45-minute hot showers in the winter. When I become a homeowner, I know that it's going to be timers going off to say get out that shower.
Yeah, and you learn to be real frugal. Amir and I, we paid the water bill actually on our properties, and so we found like water saving tools. Like you have a shower head that conserves water. There's faucet holders that save water. You can buy those toilets that have the energy efficient toilets, and that saves a lot on your water bill. Like 30, 40, $50. Our water bills out here can range from $100 to maybe 200, because we have the triplex and the duplex, so it's not just one home, one family, but it's not too crazy. But it can fluctuate if you got a leak, if you have and your water meter is malfunctioning, that it will shoot up. And especially because of COVID, a lot of people staying in the house, so now my water bill is going up. And so that's when we started trying to get creative. And I don't know how it works in New York, but like here we're allowed to be able to split the water meters out here, and we just have to talk to the city to put a tap in, and then we can connect the two water lines to the tap, and then now the tenants are in charge of paying their own water.
Yeah, we try not to do that here because we don't want them paying for the water. It's way too expensive on a tenant on top of electric, gas, and some landlords even charge heat.
Dang.
Yeah,
I get it. Dang.
Yeah,
I guess because it doesn't go too crazy out here.
Yeah, I have an apartment right now that the landlord wants to charge. The only thing that the landlord covers is water. The only thing.
And so I can imagine it's hard to get that place rented out.
Yeah, and they want $2,500.
For how many bedrooms?
3.
Is that the average price?
It can range from 21 to 26, depending on the condition of it. And it's a duplex. It's nice, but telling someone they're going to end up paying $3,200 a month, that's a lot of money.
So as a real estate agent, do you try to convert that person? Like, hey, maybe because this landlord here is maybe charging too much for rent and for water and all the other utilities, you might as well just buy a house.
Yes, I have 3 people on my conversion list right now that they're just working on their credit. That's the only thing they're missing. Once they get the credit up a little bit, not a little bit, but a lot, we can start working on the steps to getting them a house.
Okay, great.
That happens all the time. That's one of the biggest conversion things that I do is people that get big apartments where they're paying mortgage, tell them you're paying mortgage that money you'll never see again versus paying a mortgage, which you'll have equity in, and it'll be something that you actually own.
And so what is a qualifying credit score for purchasing a home?
With a good lender, they want you to be at least 700.
Whoa.
I have some lenders that will go lower, but the rates at a good rate, you want to be at 700. to be at a decent rate.
Yeah, that is a bit tough. I don't.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people range in the 600s.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that range in the 500s. Um, I do know that there are some lending companies that will approve you. I can get some people approved at 600, but understand that your rate is going to be high threes.
Okay, that's not discouraging.
It's not discouraging, but if you want to start doing other things and other investment properties, you know that you don't want to be at a 3.7 interest rate.
And so, what if you have two people? One is 715 and the other one is, 650. Can you work with that?
Yeah, we could work with. I could work with any number for the most part, as long as the income is there. But I also don't try to. I don't want. I want people to understand them to be at a good score, so they can get a good rate, and it doesn't kill them to go into. We don't want no one going into foreclosure later.
Okay.
We want you to be able to maintain. I know you've heard the term house poor.
Yes.
Try to keep. I try. I'm a conscious realtor, right? Like there's some people that'll put you in a place that they know that you can't afford, but you got qualified for it. And
Mm-hmm.
then months later you're evicted or you have to leave the apartment. That doesn't satisfy me as a realtor. It doesn't. I can officially say now that I'm making money in real estate, I don't do real estate I don't do it as much. My goal isn't for the money.
Yeah. And I think people
You
people
know,
sense that, right? They get that feel from you, like, all right, this guy, he truly cares and he's passionate about what he's doing, and he's not looking to just get a sell out of me. And then I
absolutely.
think that probably makes it easy for you to, hey, this kitchen, right? Uh, and then it's a done deal from then on. You also said that you deal with commercial real estate.
Correct.
What is the difference in the type of clients that you get with that between commercial real estate and residential?
So with commercial real estate, we're talking long term. We're talking big money, right? Because even if, like, I had a spot that I recently did where it was, I want to say about 700 square feet, and the client who got it, just to make it, I got her 3-month build out. She's looking at $20,000 build out just to make it a nail salon. And she has a 5-year lease.
Okay.
Right? That commitment is long term.
Yeah,
It's
that
a
is.
huge investment, and what we're going in now, it's either go home or stay home. Says go home. She has to go hard or stay home because you're not gonna. That type of investment now, like she knows a nail business is going to be successful, but her investment in that, she's not going to see back for another 2 or 3 years.
Yeesh.
So those type of clients is much different. A rental, the most someone may be looking is 1 to 2 years to stay there. When you're talking about these commercial clients, some of them could be doing anywhere up to 5 to 10 year leases.
Yeah. And which I guess makes me say, all right, uh, as a real estate investor, is New York the place where I would prefer to be a commercial investor and invest more in commercial properties than residential properties out there?
Yes, absolutely. Just making sure that you get the right type of clients that has to be an essential because if it's something that clothing right now isn't the time for it. If you get a business, like
Yeah.
a nail business, a hair business, that's the way to go. To screen your clients and make sure that they're gonna last no matter what we see with this pandemic going on. It's something we didn't see it. We didn't see this coming, but we have to be prepared to be able to sustain it going forward because these investments, these money that you have invested, you can't take it back. You can't
No.
say, oh, I made a mistake. Once you sign that dotted line, it's yours. You have to come up with all ways to secure and make sure that you're able to continue that investment.
So when it comes to somebody putting a business into that commercial property, are they getting that commercial property based off of their credit, their business credit, or they, as a personal credit? You see that happen?
Business credit.
Business credit.
credit.
Okay.
They'll check your business credit, but they also want to make sure that you have the funds in the bank, just to sustain whatever may happen with the business. Right?
Okay.
And those type of leases, those 5 to 10 year leases are very enforceable, and they're going to get their money regardless. So,
And I can imagine
the best possible way. Let's say that
Okay.
they'll enforce it the best possible way that they can. I'm not saying they're necessarily going to get their money, as stated earlier in this interview, that they're always around it, but they will go at you at some point. They'll go at you personally at some point.
and
So
the interesting part about that too. Go ahead.
Yeah, as an individual, you're still personally liable for properties as well.
Yeah.
So you can have it under your business, but your name is on it. They can come after you personally for it.
And I think the interesting part is like vetting, like, okay, nail salon or a barbershop, hair salon, like vetting. I guess you as the owner, if I'm the owner of that property, I guess I'm looking at their books. I'm looking at their books to see what they're bringing in a month, and that's their income that I'm paying attention to. And I guess I'm subtracting, I guess, their liabilities, because they got to pay their employees.
They have vehicles. Yeah, anything they have to pay out. You just want to make sure that they're still going to have enough to cover their rent. And you also want to make sure they at least should have up to 6 months in reserves.
6 months for that one. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, that's definitely something that, because we do have some people that listen up in New York, and like I said, me and Amiro definitely were trying to look into that area, but we want to make sure that's so big money out there. So we want to make sure it's the right move. Cause like I told you, out here, we got something TriPlex for 130. So when we go up there and get something like that, what type of, cause man, you're talking about millions of dollars here. Are these people that are already, how much are they putting down, or what do they do for a living? Were they able to get in the game like that?
For the investor game, and I have some investors that I'll connect you, one in particular. I'll say this: the average investor that I have semi proof of funds are showing proof of funds no less than 12 million.
Yeah. Okay.
And as far as I know, majority of it is from real estate.
Okay, so they started doing something. I guess they started something smaller, and then by the time they got into commercial real estate with you, they already have amassed that type of money. And I guess so everybody kind of talks about, you hear the beginning, you kind of hear the end a lot, and a lot of stories, but the middle part, as far as how you got there, is the question mark. And so like that would always be my question. Like, okay, I figure out how you got started. You said you bought your own spot, blah, blah, blah. And I know where you're at right now. You got $12 million worth of funds. How did you break that threshold to even get in commercial real estate, period? And so, yeah, I would appreciate, man, if you did.
Yeah, I'll definitely connect you. Some may, I don't know how much they're going to be able to tell you on air. Some of it might be a great conversation just for you personally.
Yeah. Because
a lot of that stuff they have to hold close to the vest, right?
Are you able to tell why? Are you able to tell why they hold it close to the chest?
I think it's sellable. It's
gotcha.
Sellable, right?
Sellable, yeah.
Just like even Damon John and all these other people who make it, they give you tips and advice, but they also charge you for it, because everybody wants to be a millionaire. Everyone wants to have 12. I would love to wake up tomorrow and have $12 million, but everybody's path isn't your path, right? So that was one of the biggest things I learned about being a realtor, is seeing those guys on $1 million real estate. I thought it was going to be just me. I could just be the hardest working man I know, and I'll be doing 2 deals at $100,000 a month. That wasn't my path.
Yeah.
Wasn't my path at all. Isn't my path yet, but I'm continuing to do better and better each year. So I'm thankful for that.
No, always. Any step in the right direction is a blessing.
Yeah.
And that is something that I'm realizing too. Like my path is not going to be what somebody else's path is. I just talked to somebody else early this morning, and he amassed 17 units in 2 years, and he's my age, and he's down in Tampa, Florida, in that market. So the average price is about $300,000 for a house, but he started off with mobile homes. So his mobile home market is similar to mine, where we could buy a mobile home for 10, 15 grand and easily make $700 of cash flow. So usually if you want to get out of your 9 to 5 job, a lot of people do the mobile home business first, so that now I've created enough cash flow I can quit my job. And then now I'm about to go full time into everything else.
Mhm.
So that's how he said he started. And
Yeah, number one question everyone asks me, I'm surprised you haven't asked me yet, is when am I going to become an investor? I get that question. People that don't even know real estate, like, when are you going to become an investor? Because it is a good game. It's definitely the way to next level.
So I got okay. It's a 2-part question then. So I'll ask you why when are you going to become an investor, and then the second part of that question is why do a lot of real estate agents, why aren't they investors? Because I hear that all the time. Like a lot of real estate agents don't end up becoming investors.
So I plan on becoming an investor next year, the end of next year. Why we don't? Honestly, some of the investors I do know were once agents and quickly left the game because they didn't like sitting around waiting for their money, and felt that investing was a more sure way of getting their money right away. Because being an agent, there is a lot of waiting. There's deals that I put into works in November of last year that I'm still waiting on that check to come. It's a waiting game. It's a lot of things happen on the back end that you have no control over. So as a real estate agent, after you get an accepted offer and things go into contract and you do the inspection, those are just the natural 6 steps of real estate of an agent. Is you get an accepted offer. When you see a house that you like, you go into contract, and then you do the inspection. After the inspection, there's nothing you can really do. You might answer some emails, but everything else is in the hands of the attorneys and the lender and the buyer or the seller. Nothing else you can do in that time frame until closing when you get your check. So can you imagine anything falling out in between there? And there's nothing you can do besides waiting on the closing day for you to get your check.
There's a lot of variables.
A lot of variables that you have no control over. And no one likes that, right? No one likes to know, I may not get this check and I have no control over getting my check. With an investor, you have more of a control. You always want to be the king on the table. Right? You don't want to be the pawn. You want to be the king. You want to be able to control your moves. As an investor, you can control a lot of your moves. That's why everybody wants to be an investor who knows enough of information and has a lot of cash flow to play around with.
Yeah. Have you ever dealt with anybody that used a VA loan in that area?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I actually have a client now that has a VA loan that we're waiting on the closing date.
Awesome. Because that was how Amir and I was looking at trying to break out ground in that area, is to use the VA loan. Because like I don't have 12 million sitting around.
Not yet. But see, the thing about a VA loan, just want to watch on what. So when you're down pay with a VA loan, you don't have any down payment. A lot of sellers don't understand that they still get their money on the back end. When you hear no down payment and you're a seller, you heard no.
Mm-hmm.
No what? No money? No money now? Even though you can't touch that money now, they feel more secure knowing that the money's in the bank account in escrow.
Gotcha.
Instead of waiting on the back end. Everybody likes to see the numbers up front. So it is a lot harder to get a property. A distressed property and no one else wants it, you have an in because they have no other competition. If it's a competition property, you're in trouble.
Yeah, and so I did run into that issue actually. The real estate agent told me straight up, like, "Hey, look, I get you trying to do a VA loan for this quadruplex, but somebody comes with cash, they're probably gonna win."
They're going to win. They're going to win. And the sad thing is, even if they're financing and they're saying, "Oh, but your properties is a lot cheaper," right? So say the person says they're putting down $20,000. $20,000 isn't no money on a $130,000 property. But if you're going, I'm putting down zero. I'm putting down my good faith zero. If you want $1,000, I'll give you $1,000. But if somebody say $20,000, even though it's the same money at the end, they're going to go with the person with $20,000 because the $20,000 person sounds like they're have their stuff together versus the person who will give you $1,000 in good faith. No, it's business, right? I'm using a VA loan, which I've earned. And I explain this to people all the time. They earn this VA loan. I can't get a VA loan. I didn't do anything to earn a VA loan. This person did something and did service to get this VA loan. You know, it's hurtful sometimes that people don't even take that into consideration. You're still getting your money. You're not getting a dollar more at the end for going with someone with a VA.
Yeah, and it got to the point where I had to
not going with someone with a VA. You're not getting a dollar more. You know, it takes somebody like the person who I told you we're waiting to close.
Yeah.
The property that he got, it was so hard. It was touching because a lot of people said no. You know what the buyer told him? Sent a message when we sent the offer. You know what the offer said when they accepted it? The first thing they said was, "Thank you for your service. Your offer has been accepted."
I like that.
Woo! Listen, I'm not gonna cry on this thing, right? But it's just imagine how many people told us no, and because they wasn't educated, they didn't know you still get the same amount of money, but you're also helping out somebody who did something for this VA. They wasn't handed this VA; they had to give service for this VA. So when I read it, it hit me a little bit. I don't cry. It hit me a little bit, and I called him. And I said, guess what they said? He said, what? Another person turned us down? I said, let me read you the email. Thank you for your service. I heard the tears in him. I heard it. It choked him up.
That's what's up. And it's interesting you say that because like it got to the point where I had to, being that I was providing a VA loan, I had to increase my offer price to make it look more attractive to the person that was going to pay cash. Yeah. So the house may be listed at 130. Go ahead.
Yeah. You have to say, I'll pay for your closing costs. I'll pay for transfer taxes. You have to throw in all the extra because people just don't know, and they're never going to know because, unfortunately, people are triggered to hearing when you hear no money down, they feel like they're losing, and they need the right agents to educate them and say you're not losing. You still, that money, even if someone gives you $50,000 down now, you cannot touch that money right now. That money means nothing to you. It's in an account. It's secure. Now, if the person gives you $1,000 or $2,000 in good faith, they don't want to lose their money either.
Yeah.
But understand, I would love to be in a position to help someone who earned a VA. Someone just didn't give this to you. They don't just walk around giving away VA loans. You have to earn that service. You have to provide service for that.
I appreciate you emphasizing on that because I think, especially I'm in a military town. There's nothing but, I think there's like 400,000 of us in this area that are in the military. Some crazy number, but I noticed that in different parts of the country that are not so oversaturated with military, there's more appreciation. If I was in a uniform, when I was in a uniform in North Carolina, I would see a different kind of reaction. Like somebody would pay for my meal, right? That don't happen where I'm at now because there's like too many of it. They don't even give us military discounts in some areas because there's too many of us out here.
So many.
So
they lose money.
yeah, they lose too much money. You know, probably 60% of the population is military. So it's refreshing to hear that come from you, different perspective. of appreciation. I guess because of the area where I'm at now, it's so many of us. So with everything that we talked about, and I really appreciate you breaking it down too, because this is we're also not only having a conversation, but this is also very educational to people that looking into real estate investing, looking to be a real estate agent. What are people looking for when they want to sell their home? Well, it's the basement, the kitchen. Hey, I had smiled when you talked about the kitchen because I'm like, yo, I know like that is kind of the seller point, and the man just want to make his woman happy, and he cool with his little man cave or whatever. He could watch his football game, whatever. He's good, pretty basic. So with all that, what do you consider your rich state of mind as to why you get up every morning, do what you do? You seem like you really taking this real estate game heavy, and really making it into your own and want to continue to progress.
The biggest thing is like right before I started real estate, I wanted to do real estate for a few years, and a lot of people have told me that they signed up for the real estate for Groupon. I spent
What?
thousands of dollars doing Groupon, never completed one class. That was the biggest hustle they got me for thousands of dollars. And I was working at the time. I was doing a job. I'm not going to say the job, but I was doing a 6-figure job, and wasn't happy. And all I could think about is, man, why don't I just do real estate? Why don't I do real estate? Why don't I do real estate? And then I said, you know what? I'm going to take a chance on me. I called the real estate school. They said, if the next class is Monday, if not, the next one is next year. I said, I'll see you on Monday. Called my job. I said, I resigned. It's like, what? I said, I resigned. I'm going to real estate school. And I put it all on myself. I bet on myself to do it. So that's what strives me now, continues to strive me. Not only do I have a son now, it's knowing that I walked away from making a 6-figure job, knowing that my aspirations and my goals was beyond 6 figures. 6 figures doesn't define me. I love what I do. I love helping people. I love the impact that I feel that in this space will allow me to not only continue to grow for myself and for my family, but just to be able to inspire and help people, right? Like that's one of the things, like I want to do something I want to put together a program for VAs. I want to do a lot of different things where my credit, I was able to start my credit repair company where we didn't learn credit in school. We didn't learn real estate in school. We didn't learn investing in school. But there's opportunities to really do those things. And I think for me, putting myself in a position to be successful and to show people that it can be done. Like I told you, I have 7 people in school right now that I'm paying for them to go to school. I'm investing in them to be better than what they are. And I wouldn't have been in that position if I wasn't doing real estate. And I love it. And I think it's what's going to take me to the next level just in life. So every day I wake up motivated, and that's why I wear my name. Now is very important to me that I wear my name. My son's name is Kevin as well. And I want him to understand that you want what you work for. If you want to work hard and you want to get things, you want to live nice, you want to have nice things, you got to work hard. And that's what motivates me to keep doing everything I have to do.
Awesome. I can definitely relate to that, man. I have I got a junior, so he's about to be 8 in January. And there's times when I take him out and to do painting with me on one of the properties, or just try to show him around, have him read an entrepreneur real estate book. And because he always says, I want to buy my mommy a car. I want to buy her a house. I want to get nice things. I'm like, you don't understand. This don't come easy. This ain't just, I just woke up and I got a suit and tie and I just get a job. There's definitely some hard work that goes into it. And it sounds like, man, you're gonna have your son definitely going in the right direction. And I really appreciate talking to another brother that's doing it out there. I do appreciate that, because I think we need to see that more often and hear it, which people be hearing it through the podcast or on YouTube, seeing it. So I definitely appreciate you taking the time for that.
Absolutely. And I salute you, man. You have a son and you're doing the same thing. Man, I get emotional sometimes even thinking about it, right? Like who does it for us? Who did it for us? Who was that shining star? Who was that? Right, like everyone idolizes Jay-Z, right? I idolize Jay-Z I don't idolize Jay-Z, but I look at what he do and I admire what he did is because when he got to a certain level and certain level of knowledge, a lot of that stuff had to change, right? It wasn't about going in the club. It wasn't about having 1 million bottles, because what is that generational wealth and what you're building for that foundation? So I salute you and your family for what y'all doing, because just like you giving out this information and this knowledge for other people to grow, I'm sure if we touch one person from this interview and they say, you know what, I need to take a chance on myself. You know what, I need to look into investing more. I need to look in real estate more. And I'm not saying, and just like we both said, right, your path may not be our path, but just take the step in yourself to know that you
Yes,
want something different and you want something better. So
exactly.
I salute you for that.